Welcome everyone. My name is Valerie Jacobs. I am a licensed real estate agent in the Cincinnati market. We are going to take a quick look at the April stats for real estate, and then I'm going to share some interesting tidbits from an article that I have as well. So for the month of April, home sales increased just over 12%. The average sale price increased over 21%, so that brings our average sale price for April to just over $283,000. Average days on market is 30. That decreased by 4 days compared to a year ago. And then sale price versus list price percentage is still strong at just over 98%. So I mentioned that I had read an article this past week that I was forwarded to me by Scott Nelson, who is the CEO of Comey & Shepherd, and thought there were some interesting factors that I could share with you as well. So the title is basically, when is this low inventory dam going to burst? For those of you familiar with our market, it has been a seller's market for years, but this last year it has really been tight. So there are three contributing factors. One is the soaring cost of goods. Two is the forbearance program and rent moratorium that's in place due to COVID. And the third reason are the baby boomers, which are people age 55 to 75. So let's look at the soaring costs of goods, and I'll just give you an example. Plywood has increased by over 250%. Our rate of inflation for this April is at 4.2%, and that is the fastest increase since September of 2008. Fed officials have stated that they won't raise interest rates until they consistently see them around that 2% rate of inflation. So I think that's something to really keep in mind, that number as an indicator. It's a question I get asked a lot. When do you think interest rates are going to increase? So again, rate of inflation around 2% consistently might be a good indicator. So let's look at forbearance programs and rent moratoriums. In January of this year, 2.1 million people enrolled in a homeowner lender forbearance program. So that basically means that greater than 90 days, they have not been able to make a payment on their current mortgage. Lenders, because of COVID, are restricted and they are not allowed to file a notice of default and start the foreclosure process. Right now, they are limited until December 31st of this year. That date might change, but if it doesn't, then starting January 1, lenders will be able to start that foreclosure process for those 2.1 million homeowners. So we should expect to see more properties coming on the market for that reason. There's also a rent moratorium in place, which means that, again, due to COVID, somebody legally is allowed to not pay rent due to financial hardship. So the downside to that could be that a homeowner that has a rental property might still have a mortgage on that property, which they are required to pay. So it's pretty difficult right now to sell rental property, or it's more difficult than it has been in the past because people are fearful of renters not paying rent and then being upside down on their own mortgage. So it'll be interesting to see. Right now, I don't believe there's a date for that rent moratorium to be lifted, but that's also a factor we should really pay attention to, because I think we'll see, once that rent moratorium is lifted, I think we're going to see more rental properties come on the market. And then last but not least are the baby boomers, age 55 to 75. They own 42% of the housing inventory in the United States. So as they age, you're going to see more of their properties come on the market as well. Might not be 2022, but I would say in the next, within the next 5 years, we will see an increase of people selling those properties. The house might be too large. The property taxes may have increased to the point where financially they can't afford to stay there, or they need one-level living because of aging needs. So thanks so much for joining me, and hope to see you next month on our May statistics for Cincy Stats. Take care.